All right, well, first, thanks everybody for having me and allowing me to share how we use technology in our business. As Terry said, Core Ready Mix was founded in 2015. We currently have 5 locations. We're up to 124 employees. We're central dispatched. We use Janelle. We're about 40% residential, 40% commercial, 20% civil. It is locally owned by Aaron and Scott McDonald. I'm going to kind of take you through, I would say, kind of from the start of the day to the end of the day of some of the technology we use. Our first one was trying to find a better solution to DVIR reporting for our drivers. We went with Whip Around. Some of the biggest benefits to it we've seen is that our shop and our drivers are able to communicate very quickly, more robustly with each other when there is an issue with the vehicle. The defects, the shop and the management is able to see if there's a defect in real time as soon as the driver notices it. We've seen a reduction on breakdowns during the day, and thus ensuring that our on-time delivery increased, as well as ensuring that our equipment is safe on the road and on the job sites. Second bit of technology that goes along there with the Whip Around is the RTA. RTA through the API from Whip Around gets its data. We're able to then put the defects into a work order form, and then the mechanics are able to then perform the work orders. We chose RTA for a couple of reasons. On the mechanic side, it's very simple for them. They log into a job, they perform the repair, they add some parts, they put some notes in, they log into the next job. We've been trying to find, as we go through finding more and more technology on our day-to-day basis, try to find technology that's more complementary to the task rather than become overwhelming. That's something that we've noticed as we use more and more technology, that the technology can almost overwhelm the task that we're doing. We've decreased our average repair time by almost 2 days. We're able to combat long lead times on parts, especially during COVID, by having a system in place that we already recognized a lot of the parts we needed. Prior to that, had them on our shelves. We knew we used a lot of them, so why not have them? And we're able to much more concisely track our actual repair costs on equipment. We're able to figure out life cycles of equipment much more aggressively now than we ever did before. And again, all of this has ensured that our customer, our end user, at the end of the day, has a much safer vehicle on the road and on the job site. Our next one was actually a pretty easy one. We looked at a couple of different options to find a way for our customers to order concrete much easier. Very simply, put an unsearchable link on our website. We supply the customer with the link. They can order concrete from wherever. It's cut down on a few things. We don't get as many issues. I shouldn't say issues. We don't get as many errors because it's the customer's data we're then entering into our system. This has evolved as it's went as well. We're looking to actually use some sort of technology so that we're not hand entering this. Our Janelle dispatching is getting ready to update, and once that happens, it'll actually take that away from a person entering it into our system. The other thing we noticed right away was making sure that once the customer hit enter on the website, the email that was sent to our dispatchers was also sent straight to them. That way ensuring that the customer knew exactly what they had ordered and exactly what they were going to be receiving. The next bit of technology we looked at, again, was our Janelle dispatching. I think everybody that's been in concrete understands that, no more old scales, everything's done electronically. We chose Janelle for a couple of reasons. Their ease of use, the ability to connect to our financial software, and their stellar customer service. Again, they're getting ready to upgrade, so I'm excited to see what new things they come along with. All of these systems, as we choose them, we ensure that they do have some form of API, the ability to speak with each other. That's been a big thing I've had to learn over the years, is make sure that one technology can speak with another. I originally hoped that I could find one thing that did it all and did it well. I've learned over the years again that they all do one thing really well. If they try to do multiple things, they'll still only do the one thing very well. So rather ask them to do their one thing well and maybe give their data out through an API. The next thing we looked at, Samsara cameras in the trucks, started as a big way to increase our safety. I really like it for the fact it's like having a trainer in the truck. You're able to provide the driver with some data on how they're driving, give them some scores, really be able to correct unsafe driver behaviors. We've leveraged it a bit more. We're actually using the data from Samsara, the GPS data, to dump into our dispatching software to take the truck through the process to make better decisions on, what trucks to send where, scheduling, all that kind of stuff. Again, with safer drivers, we feel more comfortable on the road and on the job sites for our customers. There was some pushback with this at first, but I think after 3 years, we're kind of over it. I think a lot of ready-mix producers have dealt with that, where drivers don't want to be recorded on camera, but I think it's becoming more and more of a prevalent thing in the industry, and people are just dealing with it. So the next thing that we started to use about 3 years ago was Verify. I'm a huge proponent of Verify. My background is quality control. And in my opinion, the key to quality concrete is consistency. And Verify is the best tool if you want consistent concrete. Plain and simple. That's what I found. Some of our key contributors to the consistency, you can see on the right-hand side there, that's what the batchman's able to see. He's able to see the slump that was batched almost real time. Within 5 to 10 minutes of him batching, he's got an actual slump on his screen of what it actually is. No more of the old eye test where one driver thinks it's a 5 and another thinks it's a 7. This is concise data. I'll show that on a couple more slides just how much better we've got since we've started introducing this. We're able to then, weekly we send out some data to our batchmen. It's a bit competitive, each batchman wants to be better than the next, so that's a positive thing as well. We're able to control our water cement ratio by using Admix in transit. It's the first time in my career I can tell you I'm sending a customer an actual mix design with the actual water cement ratio that I submitted to them, which is, to me, unbelievable. 10 years ago that was not a thing. Again, the Verify is able to manage the specified slump per se. Through the back end, you're able to give it instructions. If that mix is only supposed to be placed at a 5 or a 6 or a 7, Verify is able to stop it from going above that. Super simple. If the driver tells the contractor or the finisher that they can't make it any wetter, they can't make it any wetter, right? So that has helped not only on the quality end and the consistency end, but it's started to save us time as well. We don't have as many contractors when we get to the job site asking us to change the slump. So a little more data. Verify, that's one thing it does well even after you're able to consistently produce concrete. You're able to get a lot of data on the back end. We've been able to start to recognize material issues prior to ever testing for them. If I notice that I need to put more admixture in than the week before, typically I'm noticing a material issue. Without ever having to do any testing, it's already there staring at me in the face. We're able to send to the customer on a weekly basis just how they're doing. We let them know time on site, wait time on site. We show up and it's a half an hour before we pour out. We're able to show them that with data. We also use the top 5, bottom 5 reporting that it gives us. It's a really easy way to champion good drivers or good customers, and then be able to have conversations with some of those people that aren't doing so well and coach them up to get them to better. Nobody wants to necessarily be the bottom. they're okay being in the middle. The top they're okay with too, but nobody ever wants to be on the bottom there. So this is what I was talking about with Verify. If you look at the 2021 there. So 2021, this is when we started with Verify. 63% of our loads were out of spec when they were batched, when it comes to the flowability or the slump. It's not good. And I can tell you, when I went into this, I thought we were great. We were gonna be the best. We were not. So come year one, we're down to 35% of our loads that are now out of spec. I don't have the 2023 data yet, but by 2022, we're right at 30%, and we're slowly getting better and better and better. To me, that's a big deal. Again, consistency. If I can batch it consistently, it's gonna show up on the job very consistently. Next thing we did was digital ticketing. I will say timing for me was probably impeccable on this. I rolled it out in February of 2020, right as the pandemic was starting. So easy to tell everybody they weren't getting tickets anymore. Years later, I am starting to see a little bit of pushback on it. Municipalities are my big one. They, for some reason, want tickets, and I have a few engineers that want them as well. Just like when you go to the grocery store, if you want paper, it costs you money. If you'd like a paper ticket from us, it also costs you money. So at the end of the day, the digital ticketing has been a very helpful tool. I used to go out on job sites all the time, and I'd see a pile of my tickets in the trash can, sitting under a rock. Nobody did anything with them. And then 3 months later, somebody calls me and wants a copy of the ticket. So now it's very simple. The customer has a portal. They log into their portal, they figure out their port date, they download the tickets. Much easier. I've talked to a couple big contractors on large commercial jobs. It saves them hours a day. All their tickets are just a download. So, and then on the driver's side, it's just a tablet in the truck. Very easy to get the data for them. Next one we went with, we started about a year and a half ago. My old school spreadsheets, again, being a quality control guy, old school spreadsheets with quality control, we'd outgrown them. So went to Quadrell. I'd used it 20 years ago in my career. It's a huge help on identifying trends. It's a huge help on identifying issues with a mix, all of those things. So it is linked both with our dispatching and batching software. We use it not only for submittals, again, for identifying those trends, for all of those things. So the other nice part has been that our gradations, we actually do our gradations through there as well, enter the data there. We're able to make bulk changes to mix designs. The goal is consistency. We know we don't get consistency as much as we would hope from especially our aggregate suppliers. It's hard to do. You're pulling something out of the earth. It's always going to change. So the ability to make a mass mix adjustment and that end user, the customer, doesn't realize that we've changed anything in the mix is huge for us. One of our newest ones is silo inventory management. We chose Bidmaster. I've got it on 2 of our 4 plants so far. It's worked great. Been able to recognize if we've got a over-yield or under-yielding problem through the plant much quicker. It does happen, things fail, so this way we're able to see it very, very quickly. It also helps us to ensure that we're not going to run out of the middle of a pour. The other thing, since we've went to this, we've actually made some changes on our scheduling for our cement trains, a little more on time, and feel comfortable in doing so without running out of powder. Another new one we just started was V-Orb, so maturity probes into our concrete. Goal here is less waste when it comes to testing. Just less manpower when it comes to testing, all that kind of stuff. Originally, we also are trying to use it for set times. In Phoenix, it's critical that we keep our set times consistent. It's 120 degrees. I still need, 5-6 hours of set. The labor force out there, the best thing we can do for them is consistency, right? There's a lot of really good guys out there. There's a lot of really young guys coming up into this industry that needs a very consistent product to work with to make their lives easier. So that's been the goal here. Don't have any data to share with you on the set time stuff yet, but the maturity probes and the strength and all that stuff has already been very helpful. So want to get a little bit into the data of it. So this is pre-verify, this is pre-technology on the, again, I'm going to talk a little bit about the mix itself and what it's done. But this is pre any technology. We're looking at the year 2021. You know, our cement content was around 451 for this mix. Our average PSI was 4201. Our standard deviation was 433. Not bad, right? Pretty good mix. We get into verify 438 on cement, so we've already started to see some savings there. Our average actually went up just a little bit, 4205. Our standard deviation went down. Mostly contributed to me. I didn't want to make that change, and I was hesitant to make changes to the mix because for years I didn't trust what I was seeing, right? It's just a 3,000, yeah. So very hesitant, right? Hesitant to make changes. You don't trust what you're seeing. Then we come to this year. So we're up to 4,300 PSI. Our standard deviation is down to 380. We're heading towards, if you actually look at the bottom one, I don't know if you guys can see it, but I'm down to 412 pounds of cement. So you solve a problem, you make a problem, right? My newest problem now is I've actually been able to decrease the amount of cement in this mix so substantially that to keep it at an 8-inch slump like the customer wants, I'm having to add some form of pozzolan or fly ash back into it. So again, not a bad problem to be having here, right? But yeah, as you can see, as you start using technology and leveraging it to the best of your ability, you're able to decrease not only cost, you're able to decrease CO2, you're able to decrease a lot of things. So, and I believe that's all I got.